talked a lot about hero teams, but I think it's time we brought out some villains. Hey everybody, welcome back to Comic YOUniverse, the only nerd-centric thing you need in your life. Once again, back here again. All here. I'm tripping over my words. It's been a while. Welcome back to Dream Team, and we did X-Force, but Dubs, you know, I think we need some villains.
We do.
We've been too heroic lately. We need to show off the dark side.
Absolutely.
And what better team to use in Dream Team than the Sinister Six, the first ever supervillain team for Marvel?
Absolutely. Going to be pretty exciting, especially with, the Venom and the Miles Morales Spider-Man Enter the Spider-Verse movie coming out. What better way to celebrate than to start off with Sinister Six, right?
And the Sinister Six being the villains in the 2018 game.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's true. They are. Yeah, definitely. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
All right. My team is basically the criminals, just as always. They're pissed off at Spider-Man for, foiling them individually. And there's a particular character that is going to lead this team, and is not traditionally known to even be a part of this team or associate himself with other people, if you will. And that is going to be Tombstone, who's going to be the leader of my team. He's going to put together his own group of supervillains and finally take out the web crawler for good, because he has whatever his grand scheme is. His big gets rich quick and run the city of New York, take back the power from, let's say, the Kingpin, if you will. Okay, and he wants to be the boss of this town, and what better way than to have super-powered people working for him. So Tombstone would be the leader, and again, kind of off the wall. He's not known for being someone who plays well with others, let alone...
Yeah. I feel like if there's any dissension in the team, he just, L. Thompson Lincoln just crushes it instantly.
Right, absolutely.
It's like, oh, you have a problem with how I'm dealing things? Absolutely. Still got a problem?
Right, exactly. So yeah, I think it would be pretty cool for...
My poor widow hand.
Widow, that was fun. On that note, moving on, number one for you.
My number one is also a gangster of sorts, and someone who has recently joined the Sinister Six in one version. Mm-hmm. And this would be a villain who would be like, you know what? I need my own team. I need my own backers, Kingpin's got his own villains. Ock has his own villains. I need my own team. And I know who to get. So my team would be led by Mr. Negative. Mr. Negative is one of the, well, let's face it, he's the only villain from Brand New Day that actually stuck. Let's be real, people. Everything after Brand New Day. Can you guys even remember the other villains? Oh, yeah, the Freak was such a good villain. Menace had potential, and then it went, yeah. Paper Doll. Yeah, those are all memorable villains, right, guys? Fuck.
But he's pretty good.
Yeah, Mr. Negative, he was a cool villain. He was powerful, he was manipulative, he was maniacal. And I like the Jekyll and Hyde stuff between him and his other half, essentially.
Right. And
this guy, he's brutal. He will not. He does not handle dissension. And this team, he would have to get together. It's like, look, I know, you guys are the shit end of the stick for Spider-Man. He doesn't even think of you guys as big villains. You're just an afterthought, really. So what if I brought you guys together? We do some team stuff, and maybe, just maybe, we could kill the Spider, because he doesn't take us as a threat. So you with me? Oh, well, you're not? Well, you are now.
Right, you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Who said you had a choice?
Yeah.
And plus, he's getting his shine right now. He's going to be one of the main villains in the upcoming...
the 2018 game.
Yes.
Which I'm actually, I'm kind of surprised, I'm surprised Mr. Negative's going to be a major...
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And technically, he's also already in the MCU as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's the principal.
He's the principal. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. Maybe... Who knows? We'll be getting him down the line in the probably the third movie, I would say, probably. Yeah. So yeah, but it's pretty cool. I dig it. Giving some shine to someone who up until now wasn't getting any. So yeah. I'm all about that. All right, so moving on, my number 2. This one was more so, I kind of, depending on where I go with my story, I wasn't sure if I wanted this character or not, just because sometimes he's so mindless and he wouldn't fit well with a gangster running this team. The gangster would need a lot of order, if you will. But also on the flip side, it's kind of good sometimes to have this mindless monster and just snap your fingers and have the monster go out and do its thing. And my pick would be the Lizard. Now, obviously, the Lizard can be really brilliant and could bring some scientific know-how.
He doesn't like humans.
Right, exactly. But on the flip side, maybe there's a way that Tombstone has either trained and or tricked the Lizard into being mind controlled. Maybe, again, that whole just snap of the fingers, Lizard blocks out and just goes ravenous on whatever's in front of him. And that's kind of what he's kind of going to be, like the pet on the leash type of character, which would be kind of different for that type of character. It's in him to be like that, but he's never really been portrayed like that per se. So that's kind of what I would have him as. Just literally, if you've ever seen like the movie Unleashed with Jet Li, it was kind of the same thing. Popped the collar, he went ballistic and he trashed whoever was in front of him. Same kind of thing with the Lizard. Tombstone snap his fingers, release the hounds, and it would just be Lizard going ape shit, if you will.
I like it. So my number 2 is Scorpion. Finally back to being Scorpion. Fine. Right. Another big villain. B-list Spider-Man villain, but I always dug him. I mean,
I always thought he had more potential than they've given him.
Yeah. Remember that? I know we don't have a picture of this, but remember the time we first met at MegaCon? We hung out together at MegaCon, and this was long before we started this channel. Remember that cosplay of that military suit Scorpion?
Oh, yeah.
That was it took me a moment to realize, because when he was standing front, and I was like, what was that supposed to be, Call of Duty? And he turned around and showed the tail. I was like, oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah, I remember that now. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But, it's funny, because there's so many different types of versions of the Scorpion. Like, some have him more actual Scorpion. Some have him...
This would be more like a metal suit. Yeah, the metal suit.
Some have him in a metal suit. Some people have him just the green suit. I mean, he's had very different versions, and I've always liked something from every version as well. So you would have him like the military.
Well, the metal suit,
Okay.
But I think like Gargan, he's kind of he's a little out of it, like little.
He's not the brightest light bulb.
But yeah, Mr. Negative would go to him and be like, hey, Gargan, Mac, you want to be part of my team? You're like, you're not going to hurt me. Oh, I'm going to hurt you if you don't come with me.
Plus, Matt is someone who's could easily been like, hey, you're tired of being made to look like a fool, right?
Yeah, you're tired of that, right?
We're going to get him this time.
Yeah. Follow my lead, and we'll kill the spider. Okay. Be like, come on, Mac. Okay.
Right.
I really get into this,
don't I? It's funny, your leader and my leader are very similar in that they would both probably approach this team in the same way. It's like you don't really have a choice. Just do what I
You don't get to say no to me.
Right, exactly. You know who I am, type of thing. Yeah. All right, so my number 3.
One more thing I want to say about Scorpion is that with Mr. Negative is that he has a lot of money. He's got his own, gang. So he has access to like Hydra and all this. So he could augment the suit for Scorpion, for Mac. He could augment the suit for a few other villains on this team, their gear. So yeah, I totally forgot. Sorry to interrupt.
I sorry. Yeah, no, I thought you were done. Well, yeah, that's awesome. I dig it. So my number 3, someone who's actually really not needed for this team because Tombstone does bring a level of this type of ability to the table. But he's also not someone who always wants to get his hands dirty. And this guy is going to be the bruiser for the team, the powerhouse. He's there when Tombstone's just like, this is beneath me. I'm not getting my hands dirty. And it's going to be the Rhino. Also pretty, popular for the team. He's been on many incarnations of the team as well. And it's just someone who is easily, same type of thing. He's like, Rhino, man, aren't you just tired of Spider-Man making you look like a fool? Spitting or shooting web in your face, making you look like an idiot, running in the walls every time. He's like, we're going to stop him this time. We're going to get him. This is going to be the last time. And again, there's someone he could just send in and just brutalize the situation.
Yeah. And if he was like going after Kingpin or something, he'd just be like, hey, have you met my friend Alesky? You know him better as the Rhino.
Right. So it'd be pretty cool to kind of just to see the way that he would approach talking to Rhino, because Rhino is stronger than him. So it's like he couldn't just bully Rhino. He'd have to have a little more finesse and trickery to get him to join his team. He couldn't just like brutalize him. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, not my number 3.
All right. So my number 3 is Hydro-Man. Another villain. I think it's underutilized. And when you think about it, he's really powerful. Like, the dude's made of water. I know Sandman, he's made of sand, but you can turn him into mud, and that could take him out. Hydro-Man's because Peter's got to be a little more creative when he's taking on Hydro-Man. The dude has taken on like the Hulk and the Thing, and he's taken on some powerhouses, and I think with Negative would really like try to play on that as like I could use a guy like you. You could literally become water if I really needed you to. I could make you poison all of New York for me. So what do you say? And we'll kill the spider, but we'll do it on my terms. And by the way, Hydro-Man, you don't get a say in this, so come on.
Man, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And again, like you said, he's a character that's just so overpowered that writers have a hard time using him. So sometimes they really dumb him down, make him really stupid. He's a character that doesn't get much support, if you will. I think the most out of everything I've ever seen in terms of
the '90s cartoon.
Exactly what I was going to say. That's probably where he shined the absolute most, and it's a shame that's the extent of his background, if you will. But no, he's definitely a cool character. I dig him. I would love to see him get more shine.
It's kind of funny. Like weeks ago, I went to Universal and I rode the Spider-Man ride after so many years, and Hydro-Man is on that ride. This is one of the Sinister Syndicate. And I was like, why don't people use him more? When I was thinking about it, I was like, dude's a powerhouse. I'm like, you can't punch water.
Well, exactly. That's part of I think that might be part of the reason why a lot of people don't use him is he's so OP to be a Spider-Man villain.
But at the same time, you could, the same could be said for Sandman.
Oh yeah, but Sandman still has some physical structure to him, and like you said, you could muddy him down. You can maybe blow him away. I mean, there's some things you can do. It's a little more difficult with. There's another character on your team who could possibly pose like a friction with him. Not quite as much as like an Electro or something like that,
but yeah, like the island of Manhattan is surrounded by the Thing he's made. So if Mr. Negative like really trained this team, he could have Hydro-Man like literally hold the city hostage. Like he just makes this huge water dome around the city and be like, "Hey Pete, guess who you're trapped in with? Us."
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I never thought of him doing something that extreme.
Well, I think like Negative will like I said, he will train this team because they're all a bunch of like they're a bunch of people that Spider-Man would go, God, I gotta deal with you today.
Yeah. So I dig it. I like it. And again, I'm all about giving characters shine that hasn't shined in a while. So speaking of haven't shined in a while or ever, my number 4, and I thought this character was always hysterical, funny, amazing, and powerful all in the same respect, and it's Spot. If you don't know who Spot is, when you think of like the old Looney Tunes commercial or cartoons where like Wile E. Coyote would get the big black hole and he'd throw it on the wall and it allowed him to walk through it, or if it was on the floor he'd fall through it, that's Spot essentially. He can create these essentially wormholes that allow you to go through, and like he could. It's pretty standard if you've ever read the comic book that him and Spider-Man have fought in before, where he's like punching through one and the fist comes out of another one, punches himself or punches Spider-Man. Yeah. So he's the reason why he would be on the team is because he can get them in and out of any situation, and that's the way that Tombstone would be setting it up, as maybe he's trying to steal,
like these hit and run kind of
type of thing. It's like in out. How did they get in? How did they get out? No one can understand what's going on. Obviously, Batman isn't around to investigate, so this would be very tricky for Spider-Man to figure out how did they get into the safe, how did they get into the vault, how did they steal the chemical, whatever it is that they're after for their plan is how did they get in, how did they get out. There's no force of entry. and it would be Spot who got them in and out, and he would be a very difficult opponent for Spider-Man to actually face off against as well.
And remember, he did become like a big threat in Mark Waid's Daredevil. Like, he became scary. Like, he was literally collecting people's heads and keeping them alive in a closet.
I forgot about that, but you're right. But but again, he's still someone who's now, he's been placed to the back burner, if you will. So that's another reason why he's on the team, because again, I want to put these characters out, get more people knowing about them, and maybe we get some good stories out of them. So if I was writing, he would definitely be on my team.
Yeah. So I'm going to do a last minute change from my fourth member.
Okay.
My fourth member is Anya Kravinoff.
Okay.
Yeah. Anya Kravinoff, the daughter of Kraven, who we talked about this, like, she's underutilized even though she beat the crap out of Spider-Man in her first appearance. There's another Brand New Day character. Like, she had potential, but no one used her after when Kraven came back.
Right.
So that'd be cool. Like, I think she's really cool. I think Negative would go to her saying, "Hey, you tired of your father's living in your father's shadow? Come work with me. I could use a tracker like you. I could use a hunter. You've beaten Spider-Man before. You've beaten him a few times. I could use that, you could build all these traps, and when I put you, and you could help me whip this team into shape,
Oh yeah, she definitely could.
Yeah, like, she would be the one, like, she'd be the youngest member of the team, but the rest of the other members would be like, "Are you kidding me? She's a kid." And then she would, like, put, like, Mac in a chokehold and be like, "You still want to make fun of me?"
Right. Yeah, it's funny, you could have her as your, not necessarily bruiser, but she could be like your enforcer.
Yeah.
Like, Negative needs something done, she's already thought about it or had it already ready for him, or like, let's say the guys are falling out of line, don't want to do anything. Negative wouldn't even have to be the one, "Oh, I'm going to make you do it." It's her. I'm going to stick her on you, and nobody wants that. She's pretty OP for being such a little girl. Like, she's top notch with her traps and things like that. So.
Yeah.
So, funny enough, speaking of who your switch was, my number 5 is her papa. My absolute favorite Spider-Man rogue is Kraven. I just dig the character. He's absolutely awesome. Every incarnation has something special about him, if you will, from the 90s cartoon to what we've had recently to, even in the Ultimate Universe video games, where he's been like more lion in his appearance than man. There's always been something really cool about him. He's always looked at Spider-Man as the one that got away, the greatest prize he could get. And he's trumped him a couple of times and even has portrayed to be Spider-Man as well. So this is someone who has a great history and respect, as well as admiration and even a hatred for Spider-Man. So I could totally see him going, Tombstone showing up on his doorstep and saying, "At the end of the day, when we get Spider-Man where we need him, you're going to be the guy that finishes it. These guys are just here to help set the trap. You're taking them out." And that's where Kraven's like, "All right, I'm in." Otherwise, I don't need your help. I can do it.
I've done this before.
Right, I want to do it on my own. But he's like, "You're going to get the final blow. You're going to be the one that slayed the spider." And he's like, "Okay, I'm in." So that's kind of where their relationship would kind of come into play.
All right, I like that. So my number 5 is probably the one Spider-Man villain everyone likes to make fun of. Poor old Herman. Yep, the Shocker.
The Shocker.
He's not really like electrical powered, it's more like vibrations in the air, but I understand why they couldn't call him the Vibrator.
But yet, the Shocker is a thing too. I don't know what... doing a pink. Okay, we're gonna...
You didn't need to show.
Okay, just in case you didn't know.
I knew. You didn't need to show the people out there.
Well, just because they didn't know. Sorry.
And you wonder why I didn't stay around for a while. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, so Shocker is a Spider-Man villain everyone just laughs at. Everyone just makes fun of. But the Shocker is this, if used right, he can be a very powerful villain. And he ran his own kind of Sinister 16 for a while. So he does have some leadership skills, but people still make fun of him. And Negative would go, "Hey, Herman, yeah, you're working for me now." And Herman would be like, "Okay." Because he would know, like, I'm not going to mess with Negative.
Right. I think a big part of the problem with Shocker was his design, his early designs. with the yellow and fishnet stocking look. It never really
Yeah.
looked all that intimidating. Looked kind of silly.
But yeah.
But his power set is definitely on point.
If wanted to, like, especially if he gets like tech from like negative, he can manage to get like some tech from negative. He could be like, if I really put my mind to it, I could like shatter Spider-Man's bones or like just vibrate, and make an earthquake, like a miniature earthquake, in like a streetwise, like just if he was given that kind of tech, like maybe he could do that.
Right.
And I think that's the point of it, is like, yeah, I'm going to be a better villain, and this team of villains, of Spider-Man villains that he doesn't take seriously are going to do it. Like, yeah,
right, I'm gonna show Spider-Man why he should fear me.
Yeah.
Type of thing. Yeah, pretty cool. I dig it. It's kind of funny though, and I mean this with the utmost respect, is the kind of concept behind your story where there's a bunch of like laughed at that they don't take serious, and these guys would want to prove themselves essentially to prove that they are a threat, that Spider-Man should take them serious. Reminds me of the Batman movie where Joker is just like, I'm your number one, right? And he's like, no, I barely know you. He's like, no, they just all he wants to do is prove like he's the best villain for Batman. It just kind of popped in my head. I don't know. So don't mind me. I'm just here. So my number 6 and my final member of my Sinister Six, which would be funny if we had more than 6. That would be kind of hysterical, to be honest with you. Is kind of bouncing off of your idea of how powerful Hydro Man is. This is Tombstone's ace in the hole, essentially, is the way I look at it. Tombstone would go, I need one guy that is so powerful, I want him to realize his full potential. And it would be the Sandman. He would be on this team, and he would be also someone who need just a little bit of coursing, because he's known from time to time of being sometimes a hero, sometimes just in the wrong place at the wrong time, not sure of himself. But he would play that same card to these guys. He's like, this guy has made us look like a fool. Time in and time out. It's just not going to happen anymore. I'm tired of it. We're more than this. And he would make him realize, almost like a Vader and Palpatine type of relationship, where he was like, I want you to be better. I want you to reach your full potential. You're going to, kind of just show him that, if you will. And, Sandman would kind of eventually go, you're right. And maybe at the end of the day, he would be the reason that kind of, this, you were wrong all along. I am great, but I don't need to be a villain. He could team up with Spider-Man at the end or whatever. Because, again, he's kind of someone I also sometimes feel sorry for. But yeah, Sandman would be my number 6.
That's cool. Cool. So, I guess, yeah, my final member. And it is a goblin, but it's also going to be another last-minute change.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This goblin is one that I would have to bring back from the dead. And, yeah, not really well known. It is the Demo Goblin.
Love him. I love all the goblins, to be honest with you.
Demo Goblin, if for those who don't remember, because no one remembers him, Demo Goblin is this villain who came out in the 90s, was this demonic entity that was bonded to Jason Macendale, the second Hobgoblin. But they separated, and he became this demon who was like, I kill all sinners except children. I'm like Gamera like that. So yeah, he was like the friend of all children. So he's
you with the Godzilla reference.
Oh, it's Gamera, but whatever.
I know what you mean.
But yeah, Demo Goblin, I would have to bring back from the dead. Shouldn't be too hard. It's a demon. You can just say, oh, came back from hell.
Right.
So Demo Goblin would be my one, and he would be like the wild card, because he doesn't work well with teams. Because he wants to kill everyone. So Demo Goblin would be the one villain I would have on there. They'd be like, well, I'll kill Spider-Man, but you are all sinners, and I will kill you all, especially you, Negative. I can smell the sin off of you. It'd be like, that's nice, Demo. That he wouldn't take him as much as a threat, but he'd like keep Demo Goblin on like a leash. So, and he definitely brings like an extra element of fear, because he's a supernatural threat that Spider-Man can't really, Spider-Man said that, yeah, he's not my typical forte in villainy,
Right, exactly. Plus, he's just aesthetically crazy looking. I love like
he's got like a Hellfire glider.
He's freaking awesome.
Yeah,
he is so awesome. Like the long tongue, he's dope.
Yeah,
a huge, awesome '90s character there. So
yeah,
I'm all about that.
So.
And to be honest, any Goblin on the team for me works. They're all awesome in their own right, but this one, again, pretty terrifying, and I could just see Spider-Man going, him? Like,
hey, Demo, haven't seen you in a while.
Right. It's like, why him? How are you? Like, yeah, I could just totally, I understand the connection. I get it. No. How? Please tell me how you got this guy on your team, type of thing. Yeah, so it'll be pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's like, so you're back with a group again? Guess it didn't work well with Carnage, huh? You didn't learn the first time during Maximum Carnage.
Right. Oh, Maximum Carnage.
One day we're going to talk about that.
I have such a love-hate with that. But...
One day we're going to talk about Maximum Carnage. Like, who knows? Maybe we'll do, like, Christmas with Carnage, where it'll just be, like, a whole month of Carnage.
I like that. I don't know whether we can pull out a whole month, but we could definitely. I can. If it's so sad. Any kids out there that are watching, if you had only lived during the height of the Nintendo Sega Wars with Maximum Carnage commercials, they were the greatest. Anyway, guys, so until next time.
Yeah, just comment below, let us know what your Sinister 6 would be. And once again, see you once more in the universe. Why am I doing? See you once more in the universe!